Maz on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Follow these guys on Twitter @Felger and Maz.
Okay, that feels like a bit much. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be vacating any AFC titles. But Jim Daopoulos, former NFL supervisor of officials, brought to you by FindMassMoney.com. There is over $2 billion in unclaimed property. How much of it may be yours? Visit FindMassMoney.com today and search for free. Jim, again, former NFL official, former NFL supervisor of officials, joins us now on the AT&T Expert Hotline. Jim, do you think the Pats are in trouble on this one?
I don't believe so. I think this is a non-issue, completely a non-issue.
Based on what, Jim?
You know, I just can't imagine, something like this happening. Basically what happens is the officials get the footballs before the game. They mark the footballs. They check the pressure in the footballs. There are so many issues going on, so many people out on the field, NFL, not supervisors, but, people that come out of the office in New York that are just walking around the field. And I don't believe a ball boy who's making $10 an hour is going to stand there with a needle in his hand, taking air out of the ball. And how do they know which ball are they going to send in there? And basically, if a referee or an official doesn't like the feel of the ball, he's going to throw it out. So I just think it's a non-issue right now.
Tell me why the league hasn't, come out and basically said it's a non-issue.
Because it's the Patriots. And they, it's an issue that they're going to investigate it thoroughly is what they say. And, they will spend, a day, a week, a month looking into it. But I just do not believe that they, that there'll be any credence to any of these allegations.
So what do you mean it's the Patriots? They treat the Patriots differently? They're harder on the Patriots? They're what? What do you mean when you say that?
Well, I think because of what's gone on in the past with the Patriots, what's going on at the present time. As I said, other teams talk about inflated footballs, underinflated footballs, but it never comes to the forefront like this.
So you think it should stay behind the scenes and not in the forefront because it's not important, or is it important?
I think it's important if it's actually going on. But but when I look into this, I just do not believe that something like this could happen out there. And I may be naive, but as an official, we go out there and we know what's going on with the character of the footballs when they get set, and each ball that comes in is inspected. An official has a feel for a football. If that ball is underinflated, and I guess I don't know what the difference would be on a ball that's between 12.5 and 13.5 pounds to a ball that's 9, 10, 8. I don't know the feel, but as soon as you get that football, if you can push your thumb into it, they're going to throw it out, and they're not going to use that football. So that's how the officials work.
So I was just going to ask you that, Jim. In terms of the impact of the game on the field, how much more beneficial is it to have a ball that's not inflated as much as it should be?
That is a question that I could not answer. I don't know if it has any. I know there's always an issue with kicking footballs. They say, the kicking football has to be overinflated or under. I don't have an answer for that. All I know is that, we as officials go out there with specific guidelines that the league puts out. Some players will say, hey, I like the ball harder. Some say they like the ball softer. I think it's just kind of a psychological thing. But again, as officials, all you can do is go out there, make sure the ball has been marked by the referee as having been checked before the game. And if it has been, that's the ball that you have to play with, unless you feel that ball is not ready for use.
What do you think the operation was there, that first drive of the third quarter? That's when we all saw it. They spotted the ball, looked like the Pats were ready to go, and then was it Walt Anderson, who was the white hat, sort of runs out there, grabs the ball. They take the ball. It takes them then a few minutes for them to find another one. What do you think was going on there? Because the story is...
A couple of things could have happened. Number one, they could have had a Colts ball could have been thrown in there. A kicking ball could have been in there. Or maybe they just didn't like the ball. But the way I looked at it...
You don't think it had anything to do with this?
Just threw the ball out and the ball boy put it back in the bag.
Jim, you didn't think
there was an issue with the ball, they would have stopped the game, and they would have handed it to one of the NFL security people at the game.
So you don't think that had anything to do with what we're talking about here?
I don't believe so. I really don't. If something came up, it had to occur during a change of possession, because that's the only time that anybody would even notice it. If a player on the Colts maybe noticed, didn't like the feel of the ball or said something. But, I don't think the officials are just going to stop the game and start changing the balls in that situation.
That's a hell of a coincidence. The one game where the Patriots are called out for deflating a ball, they stop the game for about a minute so they can swap out. It's just a weird coincidence. Maybe, Jim, maybe you're right about that. It's just
it is, and I
what a
think
fluke.
It's just a coincidence. And again, the officials are trying to get the best ball out there, and so many different things could have happened. And I just don't feel that that they were informed. Hey, start checking the footballs, because again, as they go out there, they look at the ball. If it has Walt Anderson's mark on it, if it's one of the game balls that he checked before the game, they don't have a gauge out there to check it. All they could do is get a feel of it. And Carl Paganelli, who was the umpire who threw it off, probably had a feel for it, but he threw it off. And I just really feel that they had an incorrect ball, whether it was one of the Colts balls or a kicking ball that was out there.
Okay, like I said, hell of a coincidence. Jim, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Great talking to you guys.